Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Marc G with the Gordon Exchange and the Green Room Podcast. Right now, I've been trying to get this interview for a minute. So I'm glad that he gave me the time today, Mr. TK Kirkland. How you doing,
What's going on, Mark? It's a pleasure, my man. Excuse my right
you.
hand. I'm getting.
It's all good.
I got a little arthritis in my hand.
It's all good, man. You're in the city today, and that's where I want to start. Just tell me what the event is and what you're doing here.
It's called Barbershop Talk. It's pretty much how we talk in the barbershop, but we're going to take a different direction. Instead of talking about pussy and fat asses and all that kind of shit, we're going to take a whole nother direction. I can't curse on your show.
Yes, you can. Okay. Definitely.
Yeah, because it feels good to curse. I haven't been cursing all day. I'm ready to fucking use profanity.
Let it loose.
And to get our Afro-American men to really talk about health issues. But what I found out by having my own show and touring the world, right, is that a lot of young men and women don't know how to communicate. Right. So the goal today, in a sense, if we could just reach two people, I want to explain to people how to take the time to express their feelings so that you can get your point across. When you get your point across, it helps in your relationship. It helps with your children communicating with you. It helps with police officers. And it also helps with, if you have a problem, you can communicate to someone to save your life. Okay. And you've been doing this for a minute, right? You've been here and done this, something like this before, right? Yeah, for years. We also have a wellness program. It's a month where we get everybody tested for everything from HIV to diabetes to high blood pressure. And we saved a lot of lives over the years, so that's a beautiful thing. That's dope, man. Yes. That's dope. Now, congratulations on the podcast. Oh, absolutely. Podcast is moving, man. Yes, I see it doing numbers. Yes, yes. How did you get into the podcast game? Well, I thought the podcast shit was corny. Okay. I'm a street nigga. Okay. So when Charlamagne and I was like, yo, she should do it, and everybody was traveling, I guess because they hear me talk or whatever, I guess they felt something special. Right. They was like, yo, you should do that. I kept telling people I'm thinking about doing an iPod. This how shows you how out of touch I was. I was like, yeah, they wanted me to do this iPod. And I so it's been going on for 2 years and I've turned them down. Yeah. And my son said to me one day to do the Breakfast Club. Once I did the Breakfast Club, everything went from there. So it took another 6 months to do the podcast. Okay. No, a year. Okay. It took another year to do the podcast. And once I went on and did that, it changed my life. Really? And the podcast was really, when I thought about it, the podcast was really just to put the average person on. It was to put people who had a story, who no one was able to hear their story. Right. And once I put it on the air, it changed lives. So I help people to change their life. I got people jobs. I got people to think a certain way to be a better man towards a girl. Right. And I got women to understand men. Like a young lady hit me yesterday. I didn't air it. We just text each other. Okay. And she said her man goes to Dominican Republic a lot for 10 days with his homies. What do you think? And I said to LOL. Yeah. I said, you already know. You already know if you I said the best way to handle it is either not just deal with it, or when he takes a trip, you take a trip somewhere. And the best way to handle somebody, a bully, is fight a bully. Right. And so if you go on a trip and do your thing, he might slow down. Yeah. Because he'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? Right. Because most men are not strong. Most men act like they strong, but the weakest motherfuckers on the face of the earth. So that's the way I put it down on it. Okay. Now, like you said, Charlamagne, that's kind of how I jumped off. He executive produces the show. Yes. Homie's having a moment right now. How is it for you to watch him, with the book and how I haven't called him. That's how much of a moment he had. Because one day I was looking at a picture he posted. I saw this extra glow right here in his cheekbones. I saw he's stuck up right now. He's feeling like a rock star. He everywhere right now. Yeah, so that's why I probably won't call him until September. I'm gonna be on the show in September. Okay. So I haven't texted him. I haven't talked to him. I really want him to enjoy this ride because I understand it. Definitely. Yeah. And I shout out to Charlamagne because I somehow randomly with a tweet that I sent him years ago. Yes. He put it in his book. Okay. And I had told him that I saw the evolution. I saw how he had grew. Right. From where he started. And he said that was one of the best tweets he had ever got because he's happy to see people see him growing. And, absolutely. All that stuff. So shout out to him, man. That's dope. Yeah, I definitely see it in his face. That motherfucker happy. Yes, he is. Now,
when it comes to your comedy, it's very conversational. That's what a lot of people say about you. You know, when you get up there, it's not really jokes. You just you know, navigating through. Has it always been like that for you?
Yeah, I think it's always been like that. You know, the great thing about what I love about my show is that you laugh from beginning to end. It's not like 2 minutes, then it's boring, then you get another 2 minutes. We rocks this motherfucker from the beginning to the end. You're gonna laugh.
Do you still love stand up like you did?
Yeah, I love stand up.
Started?
Yeah, stand up comedy is the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Why do you say that?
You travel the world, get to fuck some of the baddest bitches in the world, the best hotels, push the flyers ride, make over $150,000 a month. You can't. That's beautiful. Hell yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
So you are known for, like, you know, you always got these stories. You know, from you were around when NWA, popped off, and the late Charlie Murphy, you know, told a story about that. Are there any other people where people may not know you might have had a hand in something or was influential? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm airing that this week on my show. We're doing Jack Thriller. I changed Jack Thriller's life, and we're talking about that this week. Yeah, Jack Thriller sat down just the way we're talking in Atlanta. He used to go by the name of Honey Bun. And I pulled him to the side. I told him I thought that was horrible. Change your clothes, change the way you move. And he's successful now. He just got married. And I called him up and I told him I was so proud of him. I said, you listened to my blueprint from A to Z. He had his wife on the phone with me and everything. And he really gave it up. He really, you know, some people don't want to share how they got on. And I put him on just like Godfrey Dancham, a comedian. I changed his life. Just like Mike Epps. I took Mike Epps from nothing and took him to a whole nother level. So D.L. Hughley, all these people came through TK Kirkland. Here's the other thing that people don't know. Terry Crews from Brooklyn 999 under the TK Kirkland.
Really?
Yes, sir.
See,
I used to take care of him. I used to pay his bills and all that. He used to hang out with me and all that stuff. But we had a little falling out. We went separate ways. But I'm glad to see his success.
Now, speaking of comedians, I have to ask you about this since I got you in front of me. I was watching the 5150 podcast, Corey Holcomb. He had Aries Spears on, and we all know what happened from that. You know, I think he's suing dude now, something like that. But what I caught was early in the show, your name came up.
It sure did. I saw that.
Address that specifically.
Well, I think, one, I don't talk to Aries Spears all the time, so he's a fan. If I don't talk to you all the time, you talk about me, you're a fan. But Aries Spears got a little something against me. I don't have nothing against him. I used to fuck Aries Spears' baby mama back in the day, before he had her. And she's a beautiful girl, but she's also conniving. She released some information to him once, and she told him I made her a squirter. And that's something you don't tell another fucking man. And
so he ain't gonna never forget. He never get over
so
that.
me and her been friends for years, even through their divorce, even when they was together, because I really looked out for Aries Spears. But Aries Spears is a weak man. He's a hater, and I was gonna go in on him after the ass kicking. But the way I move, I didn't have to put him down because God took care of it for me already.
I saw you took the high road.
Yeah, I took the high road.
I saw that.
But if Aries Spears, if you bring my name up one more time, I'm gonna say, nobody. I never did an interview about him. I'm doing it on your show. If you bring up my name one more time, I will unleash your business in the streets so cold about what type of nigga you are that it will destroy you. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. I will destroy him. But I'm trying to be a gentleman because I didn't do nothing to you. Sometimes you gotta read between the lines when a female tell you certain shit. What type of bitch would tell another nigga that this nigga made me squirt? That's some shit to fuck with your psyche.
Make you mad.
Exactly.
Well, overall, it seems like, because I interview a lot of comedians that come through here, and it seems like it's always this thing where other comedians come up, or it's a, you know, I ain't gonna say hate. Well, sometimes it is hate. Let's just call it what it is.
I know my name comes up a lot.
But why do you feel like, is it the competition in comedy? Is it that some people not getting it, like other people, jealousy?
I think everybody just knows I'm the best. It's gotta be. Because I don't fuck with nobody. I'm in my own lane. I keep doing my thing. But you know who name come up all the time? TK Kirkland. All the motherfucking time, fam.
I mean, you know,
I can see if I was doing something to somebody, or And what they used to do, they until I got on the Breakfast Club, they always bring up me, Rob, and Charlie Murphy.
Right.
They always bring up me, Rob, and Puffy. But they never bring up. They never. No, Charlie didn't say nothing about it. Eddie and them don't give a fuck. We cool in the motherfucker. Right. All of us cool, but comedians still bring it up. And for what reason, I know. Most of this shit happened before they was born. Right. This shit happened in 1982.
Right.
We was doing Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah. These kids wasn't even born. Yeah. But all I can say is thank you for keeping my name in your mouth. Right. By keeping me relevant. By making me one of the household names in this country. Because I grew up to be a great man. Yeah. Businessman, part of a Urban Solutions, put kids to school, doing this event tonight, traveling the world, changing lives, saving lives. So it doesn't bother me. Okay. They talked about Michael Jackson. They talked about Jay-Z. They talked about 50. And if you're gonna be in the entertainment business, for people who know, you gotta have tough skin. Right. You got to be able to be resilient and not let this shit get you down, because if you do, this is not the business for you. Gotcha.
And you've been, Hollywood, you done had, movies, all that stuff. Monique came out recently. Yes. And, they call it a tirade or whatever. But, she was in her show and she was speaking her truth. Right. And feel like she got blackballed, mentioned Lee Daniels and all of them. Does that shit happen out there? As far as,
when I say I'm a real straight nigga, let me explain to you what that means. Being a real street nigga, you don't concern yourself with small shit. That's small shit to me. Gotcha. When I heard about it, I didn't even pay attention to it. Right. I ain't got time to be worrying about that. Right. I want to teach every young man getting money or whatever. If it's not affecting your pocket, fuck them. Because you ain't got time to be worrying about a Monique or Sonique or whoever. Right. That's her personal business. Right. I wish you the fucking best. But I know I'm chasing this bag, and I ain't got time to be bringing your name through my vocabulary, my mouth, or nothing like that. Right. Whatever she going through, I wish the best, and may she overcome it.
Definitely. Last question about comedians. Bill Cosby resurfaced sort of this past week. He did an interview on, I think, Sirius XM. His kids had statements and all of that. First off, was he an influence for you? No. No, not at all?
No comedian was an influence.
You didn't grow up watching?
No, I wasn't.
None of that.
I got lucky to be in stand-up comedy. Okay. Stand-up comedy wasn't my thing. I was a college graduate. I was robbing banks on the low back in the day. I was a jacker. And I was just intelligent, you know. My family ran Junior Mafia. I was rich by the time I was 23 years old. The real Junior Mafia out of Philadelphia. Okay. And I was rich before I was 25, and I ran track, so I was taken care of so many levels. Comedy was a mistake for me because of the Eddie Murphy, Charlie Murphy watch. Okay. Somehow, some way, like a movie, when that happened, I would just start doing stand-up comedy. And the rest is history. Wow. But that's why my style is so different. Yeah. My style is like no other comic you've ever seen, because I have a rule. I don't think other comedians should watch other comedians. Yeah. See, other comedians will sit there and watch another comic, and that comic may say something funny. And if that comic says something funny, you're gonna take it and use it in another city, somewhere else. So I don't want to see that. Yeah. I'd rather come up with my own shit, and do my thing and roll from there.
All right. Tell people what's coming up for you, man. Like what you got in the works.
Well, one thing I've also learned in life is I move off the radar. I believe demonstration is better than conversation. Okay. And I believe that you keep, in this business, you keep your mouth shut until after it comes out. Until after the check clears, because we live in a business that, you can sit down and have a deal, and tomorrow something can happen, and the deal is off. Now you look like a liar.
You went and ran your mouth about it.
Ran your mouth, so shut the fuck up until the check clears. And like when I used to do movies and the BET stuff back in the day, my parents used to get mad at me because I would never tell them that I was coming on, because I was like, Mom, I'm sorry, I forgot. I got the money, I was going. Like, I got a lot of good things coming up right now, but I won't talk about it. And because my thrill is when they find out and they say it to me, and that's what I like. Okay. Yeah, that's my high.
Last question. Like, what would you give, what advice do you give to somebody now in 2017 that's trying to break in, whether it's comedy or writing or whatever it is? How do you tell them the best way to move, or what do you think
The best way to move is, unless you have money established, you got to work. Don't throw yourself out there to the point that you're starving or starving your family. You got a wife, kids, or whatever, and you like, baby, I got this dream. I'm gonna stop working and I'm gonna pursue it. Now everybody fucking struggling, or you get a divorce from your wife because you're not bringing no money to the table because you're following your dream. This business is, the cards are stacked against Afro-Americans. Right. We got to create our own lane. Definitely. And if you're going to do comedy, work your way to do comedy that you do an Ice Cube. You have your own movie. You raise your own money to bring it to the table instead of flying out somewhere and auditioning for a part that the chance of you getting is extremely hard. And being a writer is the same thing. You write, and if you send your material out to different places, make sure you register it so that nobody steals your stuff. They still can steal it, but if you have it copywritten, you can protect yourself and sue later on down the line. And those are things that I would suggest for people to do. Just like, a lot of people don't know that I did a lot of music back in the day. Right. Interludes on albums from Second to None, the AMG Bitch Better Have My Money, to Timberland, like the Timberland's first album, which was a beautiful thing. Lloyd, the Player Diaries, and I go in the studio, and what producers are shocked about when I come in. I just did another album in Oakland, about 2 weeks ago. They are shocked that I know what I'm doing. Like on the boards and I come in like how the Jay-Z's and the Tupacs come in and knock it out in an hour. I knock my shit out in an hour. And I'm out the door, get the check, and I'm out the door. And they are blown away. And I produce it. Tell them how to mix it, tell them what to do, and the rest is history. That's what it is, man. I appreciate you sitting down with me, knocking, they ready for you now. So it's Marc G, TK Kirkland, the Aries Spears, the Green Room, and we are out. All right, God bless, my man. Thank you, sir.